This is ESPN, the worldwide leader in equestrian sports.
Good morning, every pony! We're reporting live from the Crystal Empire to bring you everything and anything Equestria games related. Hi, I'm the voice of reason, and joining me today are two awesome commentators, Silver Quill and Buck Brony. So, are you guys as excited as I am to witness the greatest sports spectacle since the New Orleans Chowder Bowl?
It's good to be here, Voice, and I am super excited about this event. I'm especially excited because it's brought to us by the veteran writer Dave Polsky. Now, I really wasn't a fan of this guy before this season. We'd seen him choke on the big stage during his rookie season when he wrote Feeling Pinky Keen, and again last season when he wrote Spike at Your Service. But Season 4 has been a real breakout season for him. He really came through in the clutch when he wrote Twilight Time and For Whom the Sweetie Belle Toils. I am hopeful he can give us another great performance.
Voice, I am so hyped for this that my stomach has literally inverted. It hurts so much. We've been following this story from the very moment the Crystal Empire was chosen to host the games, and we followed everything from the littlest members of Ponyville practicing to one of Equestria's up-and-rising stars qualifying for the event. If these games don't wow us, I'm pretty sure fans will get really pissy.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. In the meantime, let's check on the events scheduled for today. Now, to start, we have the opening ceremony, to which, from what I've been told, a special guest will be lighting the torch.
But first, let's check in on our arriving contestants. I'm told the Ponyville team has devoted an entire train car to their final preparations for this event. In fact, they are so committed to warming up before they even arrive, they've actually gone to the lengths of taking out all the seats.
We gotta give it our best, because we've all got a genuine shot at Ponyville Gold! With the possible exception of Bulk Biceps, Fluttershy, and me. I mean, we're good and all, but we're up against the Wonderbolts in the aerial relay, so gold's kind of a stretch. Let's not kid ourselves.
Truly, a motivational speech that would stir even the coldest heart.
By the way, how are we getting this footage?
Embedded journalism.
Anyways, this Rainbow Dash I hear is one to look out for. Not only is she a member of the Wonderbolts reserves, but her athletic prowess has been shown ever since the Best Young Flyers competition, when she performed her trademark Sonic Rainboom to save 4 ponies falling to their deaths. Physics professors are still trying to figure out how that was possible.
And we have information from unreliable sources that she is the mentor of Scootaloo, one of the fillies who will be carrying the Ponyville flag. They won that right earlier in the season by fighting off some tough competition, which sadly we don't have any footage of, but I'm sure it was still very good.
Winners or not, we still have the chance to be awesome!
Now that's inspiration.
But Ponyville's up against some steep competition. The Wonderbolts themselves are representing Cloudsdale, one of the most competitive cities in Equestria. In addition to teams from Baltimore, Manhattan, and Talltale, there are also competitors from the Griffin Kingdom. And just look at them. I'm afraid the Griffin gene pool is in the shallow end, as there are only 2 body types with a variety of colors. If I didn't know better, I swear these were recycled shapes for the ease of mass production. Oh, come on, one of you is rocking a goatee. Let it go.
Oh, no time to dwell on that. 2 Crystal Empire guards have abducted Spike the Dragon from the train station and look to be taking him towards the palace. We'll stay with them, folks.
Actually, Buck, that's the welcoming entourage. Their role is to escort Spike to meet with Princess Cadance and Twilight.
So they can just nab him off the street without explanation?
Apparently, since none of the other ponies even reacted to him being taken. Anyways, that special guest who's supposed to be lighting the torch is none other than Mr. Spike the Dragon. And I'm really not that shocked. After all, he did save the Crystal Empire from Sombra. By the way, how has Sombra been?
Oh, he's running the local 7-Eleven with brutal efficiency. Wait, I'm sorry, that is a normal 7-Eleven. Here's Sombra's. One-track mind, that guy.
Last time you were here, you got the Crystal Heart to Princess Cadance in time to save this entire empire from destruction!
While Twilight does say that Spike saved the Crystal Empire last time he was here, we have unconfirmed information that Spike was in the Crystal Empire during an incident known as EQG. Apparently that topic has been censored from public memory. There is certainly some long-awaited gratitude and respect shown towards Spike here in the Crystal Empire. It makes a nice change from him being made the butt of jokes this season, even in previous Polsky episodes. Or he's had to just stand around and not do anything for large parts of the story. By the way, how did Spike miss seeing that huge statue of himself on the way in?
In any case, something new implemented this year is our new security gate. Ever since last year's enhancement debacle, security has stepped up to prevent any unicorns to use magic to help an athlete win. And yet, that pony is still allowed to compete. Are we sure he's not being enhanced in some way?
I'm more curious if unicorns have to take their shoes off before going through security.
I just hope the ESA buys them a drink beforehand. Still, one can't blame security for being cautious. Just look at the variety of dignitaries attending this event. In addition to our 4 princesses, we have returning dignitaries from Saddle Arabia, Prince Blueblood, who's kept a low profile since getting that cutie mark swap procedure, Padme Amidala? Mayor Mare, whose sole job now seems to be asking Princess Twilight for help, and Cherry Jubilee? How did she score a VIP seat?
Cherries must be big business in Equestria. Either that, or Dodge Junction is just well represented at these games.
Well, looks like the competitors are all in the stadium, which means it's time for the torch lighting. It appears we're having a little trouble lighting the torch. Can we get a camera up there to see what's going on?
Come on, Spike! Calm yourself! Count to 10. 1, 2, 3,000, 14,000, 20,000, 30,000!
Oh god, don't tell me during his finest hour on the biggest stage possible, Spike is going to cock it up. Come on, man!
Oh, looks like stage fright's taking over the little guy. I'm not sure I'll be able to light the torch. What are your thoughts, Silver?
Oh yeah, I totally got my own hotel closet. So, what are you doing after the games?
Silver!
Oh, yeah. Oh no, I feel so bad for him. Call me. See, no worries. Now, let's turn to Prince Shining Armor, whose sole role seems to be Master of Ceremonies while his wife enjoys a place of prominence overhead. Living the dream, that pony.
Let the games begin!
It's a lovely, lovely voice.
Okay, unicorns get checked, but he doesn't. Some security. I hope the system bites him in the flank later.
We've got a camera crew on hand to follow Spike after the lighting of the torch.
Wait, we're not following the games?
Apparently not.
I can light fire with my mind!
Yeah, Drew Barrymore, you are not.
I did it, Spike. I cast a spell to do it for you.
I am shocked and appalled.
In front of thousands and thousands.
I'm sorry, Spike.
A heartbreaking moment for a young hopeful. Princess Twilight acted in haste, not considering the implications, which is a reflection of her own inexperience as a royal. She's still working on keeping her composure, with Princess Celestia on hoof to serve as a role model.
While that is true, I think Twilight showed great maturity in being honest with Spike here. Seeing as how Spike came up with his own explanation for what happened, it would have been very easy for her to just humour Spike. But we see here that she has enough respect for Spike to be honest with him.
I need to be alone right now.
Spike?
Well, on this disheartening moment, let's go to break. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Come visit the Crystal Empire. Everything here is really shiny. I mean, really shiny. We've got royals that look nice, guards that look nice, ponies that look nice. Maybe someday they'll even have personalities. The Crystal Empire. You totally want to be here because it's sparkly.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the games. Well, as much coverage as we can get, seeing how someone in the higher-ups decided to spend all our budget on escorts and sugar cubes. So the track events we're unable to cover, but we're still managing to cover the much-anticipated air relay event.
We get a much improved performance from the Ponyville team. After just barely qualifying, they lose out to Cloudsdale by only a head. I was particularly impressed by the performance of the second-legged pony Fluttershy, who has been reported to have suffered from stage fright in the past, but was unfazed by 30,000 ponies watching this event. Though I'm still not 100% clear as to how griffins can compete alongside ponies, since their wings appear to be about 4 times the size.
Honestly, I thought there would be a little more heat involved between the two competitors in the last leg. I mean, Spitfire did try to manipulate Rainbow into joining the Cloudsdale team back in the qualifying rounds. But hey, Ponyville manages to squeeze out a second place finish.
No doubt they owe a lot of success to the redesign of their team uniforms. Good thing their lead designer had a fashion epiphany, and the Griffin Kingdom places third. A disappointing outcome, and I'm sure they'll raise protest over the size of the rings.
Now go to the field where Prince Shining Armor is giving out the medals.
And now, the anthem of...
And I shall do the honor of singing!
Spike can't sing. The only song in the show I can recall him being part of was the Failure song, and he really wasn't very good in that. So yeah, I don't think this is going to end well.
Oh, we're the Wonderbolts, and we're super fast, and we're from Cloudsdale, which is a part of Equestria, that we like best, and we're proud, and we're fast, and we like it because it really has nice trees.
Yeah, let's just put the #1 not top 10 banner up. Let's see what the viewers at home think. Ooh, still not as bad as the Mark Sanchez butt fumble.
Well, this is proving rather painful to sit through, so let's go to another break. We'll be back after this.
Have you suffered a crippling injury while reviewing an episode? Perhaps you've been assaulted and turned into a bat pony, or just banished to the moon for no reason? Call attorney habeas corpus. He'll sue somebody and get you the money you deserve, then bill you for triple that amount. Wait, what do you mean it's not in the script?
Welcome back, and boy, what an Equestria Games this has been. As we come down to the final event, the medal count is in favor of Ponyville 37-36 over Cloudsdale.
That's quite something when you compare it to the Olympics of the human world, where only the richest and largest countries can expect to do that well.
Wait, 37? Ponyville is only 8 competitors. The only way that would have worked is if each competitor partook in 6 events and 3 didn't place. Yeah, that's more reason to call up Rainbow Falls on its BS rules.
It's just too bad the javelin competition had to be called off. How are you holding up, Silver? Well, the games are nearly over and there seems to be no sign of Spike. Let's cut to his hotel room to see what he's up to.
No more hiding out. You're coming with me. Now.
Okay, how do we have a camera in his room?
Embedded journalism. What that pony won't do for a paycheck.
We have reports that actor Johnny Depp is making his way into the games. Or is it Heisenberg?
It's Spike, you imbecile.
Well, I do have a javelin through my brain. Cut me some slack.
Seriously! He gets by security just fine in the trench coat, but unicorns still have to be checked for magic. Karma can't come soon enough.
Well, back in the stadium we have the final event of the games, the ice archery, which looks like it's going to decide who tops the medal count.
Now, the goal of this event, from what I've been told, is to cover up the target as much ice as possible within a time limit. The target with the most ice covered wins. As we're winding down to the final seconds, it looks like Cloudsdale may tie up the medal count with Ponyville with 37 apiece. Still don't know how, but I really shouldn't complain.
Well, it looks like this is going to be a tight finish. In fact, this pony is in such a rush he's knocked over his quiver. Oh goodness, that arrow's gone wildly up into the air and hit a cloud. Because that's an ice arrow, it's causing the cloud to freeze and descend right down into the stadium where thousands of ponies are sitting.
Well, I'm sure this will be no problem. After all, we not only have a prince whose specialty is shield spells, but 4 alicorn princesses.
They're not doing anything.
Some pony cut the disabling spell!
They put the disabling spell on the highest rulers in the land, plus any available security. I've got a bolt through my head, and even I think that's stupid.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that none of the 4 alicorns do anything to help the Pegasi steer the cloud.
Well, a look at instant replay does show 2 royals moving towards the ice cloud. No sign of them helping to bear the burden, however.
It doesn't look like the Pegasi are picking up any steam. It's gonna crash right into the stadium. Oh, the equinety! Wait, what's this? Spike is coming to the Call of Duty? Is the show staff actually able to show Spike not as the butt of jokes? Do you believe in miracles? Yes! My goodness, I can only imagine how he feels right now!
I just saw what needed to be done and reacted. Just so happens I can breathe fire, and if any of you could do that, you'd have done the same.
Humble. I would expect nothing less from Twilight's right hoof dragon.
Let's go to the field for today's moral.
No matter how many times others tell you you're great, all the praise in the world means nothing if you don't feel it inside.
And with the closing fireworks, we bring these games to an end with a huge upset. A rural town like Ponyville has scored the highest number of medals, beating out Cloudsdale by 1. Commander Easy Glider, Admiral Fairweather, General Flash, can you hear me? You took one hell of a beating! And the Cutemar Crusaders can bask in the success of being part of the ceremonies.
And thus the winding road to the Equestria Games comes to an end. It's been one of the longest overarching plots to this show. We've seen ponies prepare, worry, test themselves, and now we've seen a young dragon face both failure and success.
There has been something of an uproar from the fans about this episode because I guess it didn't live up to their expectations, what with it being built up in 3 previous episodes. People were expecting some big payoff to the CMC carrying the flag and Rainbow Dash in the relay, and I don't really know why. It also seems like a lot of people want to harp on about everything this episode could have done. No one seems interested in looking at what it actually did do. Now, don't get me wrong, I get the disappointment you guys feel for the lack of focus on the event that is in this episode's title. But let's be fair here and look at what we actually got. Another good story about Spike battling his own self-doubt. It's a similar lesson to the one he learnt in Power Ponies, but I think it's done better here because the story focuses more on him and the internal conflicts he's having. It gets a solid 7 out of 10 from me.
Okay, to all the detractors on this episode, all I have to say is, what exactly were you expecting? If the only focus on the Equestria Games, where exactly would you put the moral? Rainbow Dash learning winning isn't everything as long as you have fun? Yeah, we already had that lesson in Rainbow Falls, and I already explained how weakly written that moral was in my review of it. Besides, we saw right at the beginning she, surprisingly, acted humble in the fact that the group was going up against the best. Want to see more games? But that would have even less focus since the pony villains we've been following only competed in one event, which would make following the rest of the games a bit of a bore, just watching ponies watch other ponies compete. Riveting. Put simply, having the games be featured in the background was the best thing to do for the episode.
Where did the soapbox come from?
I have no idea.
It's important to separate the venue from the story here. The Equestria games are a huge area that can encapsulate a lot of tales. And even in the greatest sports movies, it's the character drama and not the game itself that pushes things forward. A competition without character drama is, well, yeah, that.
Having said that, I don't think the Equestria Games story arc really works as a story arc. The 2 previous Equestria Games episodes this season would still have worked without this arc, and this episode wasn't made any better by having 3 previous episodes. The games worked as a nice stage for a group of unrelated stories to take place, but as its own story, I didn't care for it much.
Indeed, the games themselves could have served as a backdrop for other stories across multiple episodes. Perhaps Fluttershy could have come into conflict with a member of the Griffin team, or Twilight could have encountered other royal dignitaries. But should that decide how we view this episode? The venue was underutilized, yet the story, singing aside, was enjoyable. Better to have one good episode than none at all.
Well, thanks for joining us for this review. I'm the voice of reason.
I'm Buck Brony.
And I'm going on a date with an athlete. Later, guys.
So, what do we do now?
I don't know. Wanna get hammered?